It's so annoying waking up angry, for no reason. But what's even worse is waking up really sad for no reason. I don't know why that happens, but it just happens. And it happens to almost everybody. Not on a regular basis with everybody, but it happens to everybody. And I'm not really a professional, so I can't give you any advice on what to do. But I thought it would be a good thing to share what I like to do on my bad days, which I have very often. First major step, the very first thing, is to just accept that you're having a bad day. Sometimes you try not to feel miserable and then you end up feeling even worse. What works for me, the very first step, is to just accept that I'm having a bad day, because after then at least I can try to figure out what's wrong and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And this is such a cliche thing to say, but you've survived all of your bad days so far. That has happened multiple times in the past when you felt like this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But you survived that, which means you can survive this too. That's another thing that I like to tell myself, because I can't tell you how many times there have been moments where I feel like this is the end of the world. This is it. I'm done. And then, things go back to normal after some point. I've heard socializing helps a lot. I wouldn't know. But a few times that I've done that, it does help. But usually I don't, do that kind of thing. So that you just figure out for yourself. But yeah, hanging out with your friends, I'm pretty sure that works. But the things that I do have nothing to do with socializing. I'm always at home, especially now. I work from home, so I'm home 99% of the time, which could be the reason why I'm having so many bad days. But yeah, go out, I guess. Food makes me really happy, but food can also make you feel really miserable. Sometimes I like to pretend that I'm in a movie and I'm having a really bad day, and I just eat a lot of ice cream for breakfast, and that just makes you feel miserable. So don't do that. But when I want to, lift myself up, lift my mood up, I like to cook, find out a new recipe, try it out. And if it turns out good, then you just feel like you achieved something. And that is very uplifting. And if the dish turns out really bad, then that's a whole other story. So it's 50-50. Food can help. Speaking of feeling like you're in a movie, other thing that people like to do, and I used to do sometimes, is, do like I don't know what you call it, drinking your sorrows away. That sort of situation. We like to do that. I don't do that anymore, but I've done that in the past. That is like a main character moment. You have a drink in your hand, or maybe a smoke in your hand, and you're just feeling miserable, and you're maybe listening to some emotional music in the background, and you just feel like you're the main character in a movie who's just having a really rough time. But that never helps. So I would suggest you don't do that. That never helps, and the next day you just feel so much more miserable than you do today because of the hangover. Most of the times, hangovers suck. And you just end up feeling more miserable when you try to drink your sorrows away. Don't try to be that main character. If you want to be a main character in the movie, try to be the one who is very productive. Like the one who likes to work out and have a really good schedule and have focus on things, really have figured things out. Try to be that main character. Maybe someday I would be that main character in my life, but don't try to be the one who likes to drink away their problems. Exercising really does help. Working out, it does make you feel really better. And that also gives you something back. In life, most of the things that we do, we don't really get anything back from it. Well, that's not true. But you know, things like when you're watching TV or when you're playing a video game, it's fun, but when you're working out, you get something in return. You get a healthy body. Although I do like to watch TV a lot. You can do both. I've recently, I take my own advice, I've recently started working out again, and it honestly does feel better. I feel like this is something most of us can relate to, especially like my generation and people who are younger than me. We spend so much time on our screens, whether it's on our phone, for me it's my laptop, and you know, we're just in our own world, not really going out that much. We don't really do that as much. I don't think we do that as much as people used to do before. Even I used to be a lot more social a few years ago, and then COVID happened, and all of a sudden, yeah, I don't like to get out of my house at all. Every time I go out, I feel miserable and I can't wait to get back home, which I think is also a big problem, because if you're not socializing much, you do end up feeling a little, I don't know, disconnected. We're all connected through social media, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing. You know, you need that real life connection. Like my best friend, she lives in a different city, 12 hours away from me. And so we don't meet very often because we're both busy, and I miss her. And anytime I'm with her or my friends, I do feel a lot better. We're always connected. We're always texting each other. So it does feel like she's around me. She's like not that far away. She's still a very big part of my life. But that's the good thing about internet and social media and all of that, that you can stay connected like that. But if I didn't have that option, I would try to go out more and try to make more friends, you know? But another thing that you can do is dress up. It's very simple, you know. Looking good makes you feel good. It really does. Even if you're not going anywhere, even if you're just at home, maybe instead of your PJs, wear something really nice and you instantly feel better. You really do. That is something that has always made me feel good. Even when years ago, when I was in a really, really bad situation, I guess, I would still dress up really nice every single day. Although I was always wearing black, but you know, I had a lot of black, different shades of black. Dressing up, it does make you feel good. So, you know, even then, that was one thing that would always cheer me up, even though I was super depressed. So dress up. That does make you feel better. Sorry, I wasn't giving any advice. I like to dress up because that makes me feel better. And since I'm always on my laptop anyway, if I'm having a really awful time, I like to watch comedies. When you laugh so much, you feel better. You know, even after the movie or stand-up show, whatever you're watching, even after that ends, you're just still so happy. When you laugh, you just become happy, and that always helps, watching comedies. And that good old reach out to a friend. It does help, you know, when you really, if you know what's making you so mad or sad, if you talk about it to somebody, it just helps, you know, get that load off of you. When you ramble on about things that are really messing you up with your friend, even if they can't give you any sort of advice, you just feel lighter after sharing your problems with anybody. So it's all but gold. It's a good advice. Especially if you're angry, it really helps taking your anger out someplace where you can just talk about things that are making you upset without making somebody else upset, because your friends, you know, they're there to listen. They're not going to judge you on anything. They would just listen. If you tell them, I don't want any advice, I just want you to listen, they'll do that. And that's amazing. We all need one friend like that. Unfortunately, I have one. So it does always help. I would just call her whenever things get messy. She's the first person I call. I'm like, this is what's happening. And this is so messed up. You just listen to this. And with friends, I've seen you can laugh at your own misery. You know, we always end up joking about the very serious, knee-deep shit that we're in. We just always end up joking about it somehow. And that helps. There are so many reasons why you could be having a bad day, which you feel like you're having a bad day for no reason, but there are so many reasons that could happen. It could be because you're feeling lonely, or it could be because every day is the same, so you're just bored and your mind is just fed up doing the same thing over and over again. Or maybe you've been working too much, you know, maybe an exam is coming or whatever and you're studying a lot, or maybe you've been working a lot, your job's keeping you really, really busy. And if you can, during these times, it's best if you can take a day off and just, you know, for self-love, self-care, or if your day is getting repetitive, if it is possible to do something different for one day, you know, if you could do that, if you can take a day off for yourself, that would always be helpful. You don't even need to do anything crazy. Just maybe go to a spa or go to a beach, read a book, look at the waves. Just anything different can give your mind that freshness that it really badly needs. You know, a day out with your family, a day out with your friends, or a day out with your dog, or just a day out with yourself. That is the best one. You know, like, I like to do a lot of things by myself because I think I'm awesome. And when other people don't feel that way, it really hurts my feelings. I like to go watch movies by myself. I like to go to cafes or restaurants by myself, try something new. I like to go to a bookstore or shopping. I like to do all of these things by myself. It's fun doing these things with your friends too. It's not like I'm always out by myself, but I like to do that. I also have an advantage of not having an office job. I work from my laptop, so I can do that anywhere. You know, I can just go to a cafe and order coffee and just work there. It's a very minor change. Instead of my room, I'm at some other place with people serving me stuff. And it just feels better. What I'm saying is that just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean it needs to be like that. You know, your bad day can turn into a good one. You go see your family or your friends, or you do some volunteer work, or maybe you go out dancing. And if you don't want to go out, you can watch a movie, read a book. They always have a way to take you to a different world. Or if you play an instrument, that is fantastic. Music is the best therapy, in my opinion. And I know these things don't always work, but sometimes this is all you need. And sometimes things are really bad, you know, like you're having bad days after bad days and it just doesn't get better. That's when you need a doctor. Seriously, that's when you need a doctor. And whenever I go see my doctor, I always end up feeling a lot better than before. And he also gives me some really cool medicines that help. And sometimes that is what you need. And that does work. If you have a good doctor, that would definitely work. My doctor is really wonderful. He listens to all of my stupid shit. And he gives me solutions to my problems. Or at least he listens to them and he puts some sense in my brain when I'm talking nonsense. And he doesn't give me any kind of prescription that I don't need. He's amazing. So maybe if anything ordinary doesn't work out, and if you're just having not just a bad day or a week, but a bad month or even more, then maybe try to seek some professional help. But there is always something that you can do. And most of the times it's just the little things that you need, you know, maybe just a day off, or just a day with your family, or just a day by yourself. Sometimes that is all you need. I've heard meditation helps too. That one I seriously have no idea about. That's why I didn't mention it before, because I never I'm never able to do that. I've tried that multiple times in my life. I'm never able to meditate. My mind just doesn't stay. And if I give myself some peace and quiet, especially when I'm having an awful day, it just keeps telling me, look, you're having a bad day. You can't even meditate. And yeah, it's never worked for me. Even if I'm not having a bad day, I just can't meditate. So I can't really tell you from personal experience if it helps or not. But I've heard from people who actually can meditate that it really helps. So if you can do that, good for you. Do that. Keep doing that. And well, these are some things that I like to do when I'm having a bad day. Do tell me what you like to do. You know, I would like to have more options. What I really need is a vacation, though. I don't really know how to wrap this up, but don't let a bad day stop you from being awesome, and think about the good days. That's what you deserve.